Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in Women's Talks. I'm so happy to welcome Sylvia Jagla here. Do I pronounce it well?
Yes.
I hope I do.
Yes.
Hello.
Thank
Welcome. Sylvia bought this interview in Hit, through which she supported our project. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to doing so, to support us in this way. And I'm so happy you came to share your story and your life with us.
Thank you so much.
I had a need to say it. So tell me please, who is Sylvia Jagla right now at this moment in your life? And you can even take it from the feminine point of view. Who are you as a woman right now?
Oh wow, that's who am I as a woman right now? I think right now at this particular moment, I just mentioned before we started that I'm in a countryside and in a big city. So I just really embrace all the parts of myself that I love to walk barefoot in the wood, and I enjoy it absolutely. But I also love to be in Prague and walk in the busy streets. And so just to come back, who am I as a woman? I'm like a rainbow, I have all the colors, and I'm not something particular, and I'm everything and nothing if you want. So it's basically, I allow myself to really feel into myself and go for what I really dream. Just follow my heart. And I think this would cover who am I as a woman. Today I have the courage to do what I want to do.
This triggered another question of mine, that I feel that freedom is a very strong value of yours.
Yes.
How does it show in your life? I mean, to live freedom as a woman is a little bit different than for men, and the pressure from society might be slightly bigger on you. So how you cope with it?
So when it comes to having family and getting married and all the, I would say, the society expectations and also expectations from your family at some point. So I am engaged for now 4.5 years roundabout. And we're probably gonna keep it like that as long as it feels right to us. And the freedom for myself is to really also go beyond all those things when it comes to become a mother, to become a wife. And the freedom is basically maybe on a cost that I just don't feel like I want to have kids right now. And the reason is that I raised my brother for such a long time, and I know what it means to be responsible for another human being. It's of course something different than having a baby and giving birth to a baby, but I really know what it is. And part of my freedom within myself, you can call it kind of like really egoistic if you want. I don't know, for me personally it just means that I really love all my friends and all the babies, and I love babies, by the way. And when I was in my mid-20s, and whenever I had the baby on my lap, and I'd still do it, a baby suits you perfectly. And I said, yeah, I know, I'm a woman, so it's like the feminine energy around you. And I said, yeah, but it's not a bag, Baby is for me something, a huge responsibility, and I just right now don't feel it. And maybe one day I feel it, and it might be too late, who knows. It might be the right moment, but right now in my personal life I just don't feel like I want to go for it, and I don't feel either sorry, guilty or anything else for it. And I think every single woman it's not even freedom, but it's just be your own self. And no matter what, whoever is doing what around you.
And what helped you and supported you in your life to give yourself such an internal freedom to really feel okay with every decision you make as a human, as a woman?
Oh, that's like maybe a little bit of a longer story, but let's make it short. When I was at the age of 6, I left Poland and grew up in Germany. So I was always kind of the different girl without a choice. And growing up and being in Germany, I was the Polish girl, and being in Poland, I was the girl from Germany. So I was kind of like belonging everywhere and nowhere. And this has been for a long time really painful for me, to be like, no, you know, not to belong nowhere. And you have 2 passports and you have 2 citizenships, which is actually beautiful, but people would just always give you the feeling that you are different. So at some point, and I was always interested into personal development, and it started in my early 20s, and then at my end of my 20s, I kind of was really at that point that I wouldn't even care what anybody is thinking about what I'm doing, because whenever I just went against my own inner feeling and inner intuition, and my inner compass is really great, and I did something what someone expected from me, it was not good for me. I don't know if that makes sense. It was just not good. It was not good in any possible way. So I just ended up really being able to listen to my inner compass and create out of this feeling that I trust myself so badly, and I know that only I know what's the best for me. And it doesn't mean that I don't go for compromises with my boyfriend or with family or whatever. It just means that the inner freedom in myself means, for me personally, only that I have my inner compass, and my inner compass shows me where to go.
So, if I understand well, you had to step out or go against your inner compass few times,
yes,
to have the experience of how it feels to don't listen to your inner
yes,
compass. And then at one point you just made a decision to always listen to it.
yes.
Wow. It's great, like it's amazing. Even like with this decision to don't have a, like to have baby only after you feel that it's the right time, and getting married after, it has to be very strong connection to your inner compass, and I mean self-value of your own has to be very settled. And you know,
I really wish for every woman to really have the self-value, to really know your self-worth. Again, this is maybe not really common what people would do, but in 2016 I told my boyfriend that I'm leaving to India for 6 months without him, without asking him to join me. And everyone just like, oh, how can you leave him? How can you leave your successful career? How can you leave all the things? And I really know that, you know, when you just really trust yourself, and you know you don't do anything against somebody, but it's really about living your life fully and truly.
Was there some trigger
to
make the decision to go to India?
Yeah, this particular decision had lots of triggers. In fact, it was, like you said at the beginning, before the universe sends you signs, and you can read signs the way how you want them to read, of course, right? It's always kind of like a projection of your own inner world, whatever comes, how you read it, or how you just perceive it. And in 2016, a dear friend of mine died within 8 months of really, really hard, long way of getting sick, and really being sick for 8 months and leaving the earth after 8 months. So there was no really time to think, okay, can I do something differently? Did I miss something? Or I would like to do this or that before I will die. It was just basically the diagnosis and then the whole path, and then it was basically over for him. And to see him throughout the whole weeks, and I was with his wife and with him, so I was either at the hospice, I don't know if you know it, or with her daughter, and we were covering the whole thing kind of together throughout the time, and just seeing him taking his last breaths. I don't know, while he was dying, part of myself kind of died as well. The big ego part of my, to really push, pressure, show all the time that I can do it, and not to myself, but mostly to all the other people. And just really kind of I don't know, to push so badly that that you are not connected and you are not yourself really anymore. So you have the car, you have the apartment, you have the money for the great holidays where everybody's just looking. And at the end, he died, and part of myself just died. I know if it does.
I feel it, yeah.
And I just really decided it was a decision within 1 week. I just told him what I want to go for. I told this my boss, and both of us cried actually, because she knew that it's about real life. Just live a real life and go out there to the unknown. And I was such a control freak, I had always signed the next project, the next contract. Everything was kind of like the way how I wanted to be. And then I just decided to go for something where I don't know what's going to happen and what's even there for me, It was really rough and tough, don't get me wrong, and I lost lots of tears, and it was physically and mentally the school of my life, I believe. But yeah, the trigger was he was kind of like, he woke me up finally. But I had another few things before happening as well. But this was the final.
This was the final, like, small push that really made you to do the real action steps.
Yes.
To connect with your soul, maybe? On very deep level?
Back then, when I had the decision, I don't know if I would call it to connect with my soul, but maybe more to really go for what I was craving deeply. So
you were craving for this kind of trip before?
Yes. And I've never had India kind of on my, travel plan. Never. It just popped up and I thought, well, why not India? A single woman traveling to India it's like, just all in or nothing. And so I just went as a single woman to India. And we are still together, so we didn't break up, just to make it clear. We are still happily together, more happy than I believe we've ever been together.
Great, thank you for sharing this part of your story. Did you always had a relationship with spirituality?
So I had.
Or if you want to share some milestones of your personal story, just the most important. You said this was the last one that made you to do the action steps in real world towards like connecting to yourself and kind of like spiritual experience, because spirituality is very often about chaos and moving to different levels of reality where you don't know what is going to happen. So are there other important moments in your life you would like to share with us that made you to think a little bit differently? Just if you want.
Well, I think, there were like really many events, because when you, as a half orphan, you are already kind of like, have kind of challenges in life without even choosing it. And when my grandma died, I fell into like a deep depression, in a way that I was kind of like not myself anymore, and I was just kind of like surviving and just, acting and working 7 days per week just to not think about it and push it away, or sleeping. It was like nothing in between. And this was one of the places where I just decided, because at this time I was also with my brother. He was living with me, and he was 16, I was around about 18. We were alone, and at some point we were almost homeless, and this was actually one of the hugest triggers for myself to create financial freedom, to really stand as a woman for yourself and don't excuse yourself for being ambitious, for being successful, for being driven, for going what you want, exactly like every single other human being is allowed to do so. And I just went for a career, I went for I worked quite a lot and hard, but this was the trigger because it's not spiritual, but on the other side, you have to eat and you have to live somewhere. And if you want to travel and live a nomadic life like I do it, I mean, this is kind of like right now at least, and there are different ways is coming up, but it's an exchange in order to be able to live. And back then, being almost homeless was one of the biggest triggers for myself.
I think it's very spiritual, actually. And I extremely admire for what you have done and achieved in your life. I will cry now. It's a very strong story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I mean, you just say it like I took care of my brother, we were almost homeless. It's like, wow. I mean.
So it's like, how can I say it? I think that, and I want really so many people to really wake up and not experiencing so many things, because we all got something to deal with every single week, every single month, every single year. And just really, those are not wounds of mine anymore. I have just scars, you know, does it make sense? And this is my spiritual path and my spiritual muscle, which allows me to heal and create the space to really whatever I've experienced to heal and help others to do so as well.
Absolutely. No, I've heard once who told me, Janička, I will do an interview with her on Friday. And she said, when you have a scarf and the skin grows back, that the skin on the scarf, on the cut that becomes scarf, is much stronger than the skin before the cut.
Yeah.
And that the same thing is with the heart and with the soul. That the cuts on a heart and a soul, when they grow back together, the skin, the place is much stronger than before it was hurt.
Yeah.
So you just, you know, with sharing all these things and with the kindness I feel from you, it's just very emotional, but in a nice way. You know, like it's just, in Czech we call it dojemné. Dojemný. Like it makes you cry, but from the nice, you know, feeling. Can you please tell me now, with wrapping up all your story and sharing with us, what do you do right now? What is your work? When did you make decision that coaching and all the things you do will be your profession and so on?
So kind of like coaching and mentoring is what I've done with my brother since I can think.
Yeah.
And with myself as well. But the professional decision was actually back then when I started to study international management and really psychology and really how people kind of think and what people will experience when change is happening. Personal, professional and organizational. Change, because change is not really what people, you know, routines, people love being in their own structures, and change creates lots of fear, sometimes anger, feeling lost, and you know, a lot of emotions people experience. And my personal decision to do so happened a few years ago, and this is what I did in my corporate life with managers and top managers in corporates and startups. And doing it on my own, I focus not only on leaders and founders and entrepreneurs, but also primarily on women who tend to really put a lot of pressure, and they have lots of stuff like, you know, the success, but don't feel the success within themselves. And they have the abundance, but they don't really, again, don't feel the abundance within themselves, and it comes all maybe down to the self-worth. It depends for whatever it is in each and every. It is obviously very different for everyone. So this decision has been made finally when I was in Goa running the retreats in India after my yoga teacher training, and I was talking with women and said, I cannot see it. I really want every single woman to also be able to how I was started to heal my stuff, and not to push so badly and to be so strong after, you know, getting hurt, being almost homeless. I just went like this. But there was a really huge price behind. I got really hard, not only hard in life, but also hard to myself, and really see things from a different perspective and wake up without having these experiences that I had to go through.
Mm-hmm. So you want to support women?
Primarily, what I do also is still really completely leadership development in corporates as well, in startups. So what I did before, all the projects, but primarily I really want to support women in getting out of their own way and creating what they crave and allow themselves to follow their heart, whatever this means for every single one.
And what are the tools you use? Coaching?
Mm-hmm.
Is there some other ways how you support women?
Coaching, mentoring, meditation is a huge part of my own personal life, and I know this meditation is kind of like the thing for so many people in a spiritual way, but meditation is basically when you break it down to connect with your breath. And this became, by the way, so clear in 2016, you know, when you another whole story, and yoga if someone wants, but primarily really coaching, mentoring, and body movement, whatever that means to everyone. Because yoga philosophy shows that when your body is strong, your mind becomes strong. And yeah, you can have a strong mind and a weak body, but in order to make a change, you just really have to develop the strength within yourself.
This is a holistic
yes.
way of looking at
yes.
the human. If I'm not wrong, you also do women's circles?
Yes. I did my last one 3 weeks ago in Munich, but this is also, how can I say it, based on really creating the power within yourself to first of all connect with your inner compass, and then to have the courage and the strength to go for what you want, whatever this means to you.
Great. Do you do it in Prague as well? Or do you plan to do it in Prague?
Yes, I would love to. I would really love to. So I'm right now here in Prague for another few weeks, so it won't happen this year. But I will be back next year, at the end of next year, and yes, I would love to do that. But I'm planning right now a retreat on the other end of the world for next year.
And you also do podcasts, right?
Yes.
And where we can find your podcast? You do interviews with women, or what is it all structured? How is it all structured?
So the podcast is called Dare Daily.
Dare Daily. Okay.
Because no matter how much I know, for example, I still have to really dare daily to go and follow my heart, and not to get, or whenever I get lost, just go back on track and really create. So it's all about daring daily. And yes, we just plan right now a whole summit at the end of the year with some women, and the podcast itself is with women who are sharing honestly and authentically and really raw and real, and not kind of like I sell the best part of myself, sharing their honest story about life and business in particular. So failing and succeeding, what kind of challenges they faced in the entrepreneurship, how to deal with fear, how to manage, because there are so many different ways and so many different techniques and approaches. So this will be all visible, because different things resonate with different people.
Great. Amazing. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and it is a lot of ways how to support women. So thank you for that. Thank you for what you create in this world, in this time. Thank you for coming here and sharing with us your story and your work and your amazing energy.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.